Is Ashton Jeanty overdrafted? What about the other rookies? We're going to discuss that tonight, as well as do a fantasy football draft as we've been doing throughout these past couple of months. Before we intro everything, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. As always, I'm wearing something for the merch store. It is our January is Envy month. I know January is far away, but Envy month. And envy rights are human rights, so you have to celebrate it, of course, year round. So you can get that as well as every other shirt on the merch store. You can change the colors of every shirt. You can get it in long sleeve. You can get it in hoodie, women's tank top, infant onesie even. So we have all these options here. We have our mugs. We have a few mugs here. We have our famous aprons. So anything bought here would really help us. You go to Amazon, buy my books. The most recent one is Jerks of the College Years, where I made fun of people I met at Penn State. I was there for 6 years, so I had a lot of writing material, and I think you guys would have a lot of fun reading it. Also, please consider super chats, super stickers. It's the best way to support the show. It really is. I mean, Armac, John Sanders and Slew, you guys helped out so much the prior week. Just really meant a lot. And I'm not joking when I say that anytime you guys super chat us, it's like 8x like what we normally get with YouTube ads. YouTube ads are kind of sad. So if you really want to help us out and keep the show going, that's the best way to do it. Cassandra is pointing out that Charlie is joining us. Charlie Campbell, senior NFL draft analyst at WalterFootball.com, the most accurate NFL mock drafter in the world, nay, the entire universe. Charlie is here. Charlie, how's it going?
It's great. Great to be back with you, Walt. I'm excited for football season and fantasy season. So it's fun that we got camps ramping up and it's finally back and the dead time of year of lost football is over.
Yeah, I feel like July 4th weekend is always the worst, like few days of traffic for the site, and then it just progressively gets more and more and more until we get to like mid-August and like spikes up because everyone's doing their fantasy drafts. So I don't think it's ever too early to dig into fantasy football. And you posted a video, I think it was 2 weeks ago, where you were talking about how you thought Ashton Genty should go in the third or fourth rounds, and I watched that and I'm like. And I've done. You're gonna laugh, Charlie. I've done like 120 fantasy drafts thus far. Yeah. So
Wow.
I know where Ashton Genty is going. I wonder if you know where Ashton Genty is going, given what you said. So before we get into this NFL, and this fantasy football draft, I just want to get your take on that. So where do you think Genty is going right now in fantasy football drafts?
Well, I mean, I haven't gotten into my practice drafts yet, but was aiming to start that this week. Um, but I was assuming he was going probably like second round, maybe some, kind of enthusiastic readers and fantasy football players might take him late first, but I was thinking he's most likely going in the second round of fantasy drafts right now.
Well, yeah, he's going in the first round. He's going late first round, granted. I have seen him go in the top half of the first round sometimes, but his ADP right now is 112, so he's the 12th player off the board. Um, and
Okay.
and you said you would take him. What would you say, third round or fourth round? So
Yeah.
yeah, so do you want to talk about why you think there's such a big discrepancy, or like why why you would be lower on him compared to most drafters right now?
Well, I mean, so first of all, I spoke with people and sources with the Raiders, and they, to me, it's just in talking with them, they felt that he's going to be a good player, but it could take some time, and he might not be just a dominant force immediately. So, just given the impression I had from speaking with them, they thought he was going to be fine, but they weren't talking about him as dominating right away. And so he is making a big jump in Boise State to the NFL. That's something that, has to be considered. It's a huge difference in scheme in college to the NFL. He's got to learn a lot more for blitz protection. Coaches have to trust him that he's going to diagnose a blitz correctly and be at the right spot, pick up the right player, execute the block, and not get your starting quarterback knocked out with a concussion or season-ending injury or anything like that. So it just takes a lot of time for some players. Some players pick it up faster, but I think just given his experience and just kind of the sounds of it from them, it sounded to me like from a fantasy draft perspective, he might not give you that big punch that you're looking for from your first round pick or a second round pick, where you're really looking at, this is a guy that needs to consistently week in and week out in fantasy put up big points for me.
It's interesting. So, I mean, you said they didn't think he was ready, and you talked about the blitz pickup, which I assume that he's not going to be on the field on the third down, or at least not very much. Does that mean any like early down work could be taken away from him as well, or do you just get the sense that it was mostly the passing down stuff?
Yeah, I think that he's still gonna be the main runner in the early downs, but I do think that they're gonna use other veterans as well, and I think they're gonna, it's not gonna be a platoon. He's still gonna be the featured back, but I'm not sure that he's gonna, really have the three down starter, complete trust veteran status, right away as a rookie. I think I just feel like just from talking with them, it just seemed more like he's gonna be fine, but he's gonna be a solid player, but it's gonna take some time. It's just kind of the general reaction.
Okay. Um, I could see a universe where, at least in just week one, where Ashton Jeanty gets like 16 carries and Raheem Mostert gets like 12. And people are like going to be
Right,
freaking out. The people who drafted in the first round are going to be freaking out. They're going to be like,
right.
say Pete Carroll's an idiot, like why? Or like they're going to try to sell high on Genty. Is it Mostert that do you think is the primary guy who's going to take the passing down stuff from him and maybe some early down stuff?
Yeah, I would think so. And the other thing that I think with Mostert is, size wise and experience and ball security wise, it wouldn't surprise me if he gets some, short yardage and goal line work, and rotated in those sets, just given the way he's played in his career. I could see that where I completely agree with you. It wouldn't surprise me if in that week one, like Genty has 16 carries and Mostert has 12, or something like that. So that makes a lot of sense to me as well.
Reminds me of Bijan 2 years ago. People were drafting
Hmm.
Bijan in the first round, even first overall. And in the first game, Algier and Bijan basically had the same workload. And
Right.
people were freaking out then. And it just feels like they haven't learned the lessons. Like, Genty is obviously a great prospect, but I don't even think he's as good as Bijan. And Bijan wasn't like the super primary guy right away. Like he did not pay off his first round price tag. So would you agree with that? Do you think like
Yeah.
if you put them in the same draft class and maybe even throw in Jameer Gibbs, like how would you rank them if they're in the same draft class?
Yeah, I had this, I think I mentioned it in our position review, but I do remember saying it, writing it at some point in different stuff. But I thought GNT would be third behind those two if they were all in the same draft class, with Bijan and Gibbs ahead of him. I think Bijan and Gibbs just have a little more special element to their skill set than GNT does, who's very well rounded, but I think just Bijan's power and ability to pick up yards after contact, and then the speed with Gibbs are just more rare attributes that would give them an edge, in my opinion. And what Gibbs can do as a receiver, and Bijan did as a receiver at Texas, so I would put them ahead of him. And that's, it's always tough with rookies in fantasy because teams aren't going to tell you how well these guys are learning the playbook. They don't want other teams to know that. And they don't want to get their player down or hurt their confidence or cause any kind of problems by saying he's really not trustworthy in blitz protection at this point. Like
Yeah.
they're not going to come out and say that. So with rookie running backs, I think you always have to kind of temper the expectations, especially with third downs, because coaches just generally trust veterans more, guys who've been in the NFL a while and they know, have put it on tape from multiple years in the league that they know how to diagnose and pick up a blitz.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up the example of Tampa Bay twice, like when they
Right.
drafted Cadillac Williams, they had Michael Pittman, senior, and then when later on Pittman was taking the carries from Cadillac, it was the top 5 pick, and then when LeGarrette Blount was drafted, Cadillac was taking the passing down work from Blount. So
Right.
it's funny that
Exactly.
yeah, Cadillac was on both ends of it. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Genty is just being way overdrafted, but I'm curious to see what you think about some of the other rookies and where they're going. So I might as well load up this draft. It's not going to take too long for this to fill. While we wait, we had an important question from Slew here. Charlie has never paid $7.50 for a hot dog, well dressed or not. So this is from reference from Jerks of the Week, where I paid $7.50 for a hot dog from Five Guys. And this has been a topic of conversation for the past week. So, Charlie, how much would you pay for a hot dog, or would you pay $7.50 for a hot dog? Let us know.
God, I think that I've paid. I mean, I'm a vegetarian, but I've paid, like, I want to say between $9 and $10 for a vegetarian hot dog at Magic Kingdom,
Yeah,
at Casey's Corner, and Disney. There's not a lot of vegetarian options, so I think that's probably the most expensive dog I've ever bought, and I've gotten it a few times.
that they have you by the balls there for sure.
Right.
Like you have to pay like arm and a leg. I remember we went to when I visited you the last time I visited you was 2014. Not like that was 11 years ago, by the way. It's insane.
It's
Um,
crazy to think. Yeah.
yeah, we went to Disney World and with I brought my girlfriend who'd never been there before. You brought your wife, and I remember just like I was so hungry at one point. I was like, I'll pay anything for
Right.
like meal, and I was like, I paid like $20 for a cheeseburger or something. It was absurd, or I can't remember what it was exactly, but it was like what other alternative is there? Uh,
Exactly.
you can't do anything about it. So sorry. So this draft is loaded up. It's 20 rounds, 12 people as usual. There's one quarterback, two running backs, three receivers, one tight end, one flex, and it's PPR. So that's basically all you need to know. We have the second pick here. And this is for $2 million. So I've been saying this to any co-host I have on. If I win $1 million plus, then I will split the money with you if this is the winning contest. So after taxes, I should say. I don't want to get stuck about
Oh
taxes.
yeah, let's do
Uh,
it.
yeah. So this is for big money. So let's have let's have a great draft here. Before we do it, what the heck is a veggie dog comprised of? I actually don't know either. I would like to know.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that that's probably a lot of tofu, would probably be the main ingredient.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't like. I'm not a tofu guy. I wouldn't not like that. Um, yeah. So
But the Beyond ones, they make it tastes like the not like a real meat. So you can't really tell a difference in my opinion.
okay. I don't think I ever had one. I know South Park made fun of it, but I never had one. All right. So we have the second pick here. This is according to ADP on the list. So Jamar Chase, I don't know if you've seen, he's the consensus number one. Then Saquon Barkley, Justin Jefferson, Bijan Robinson, Jameer Gibbs, etc. I assume you can see the screen here.
Yep.
Okay, so who would you take at one? And assuming if Chase is gone, who would you take it to?
Man, I would take Chase at one,
Hmm.
and then if Chase is off the board, I would take I would go with Bijan Robinson or Gibbs at two.
Okay, so I guess we will be taking either Chase or Bijan. We are on the clock. Each pick is 30 seconds, by the way, so this will go very quickly. And sometimes it's a little too quick. I've missed the picking here and there with whenever I had a co-host on. So Bijan, we're taking Bijan number 2. Tell us why you like Bijan so much.
Well, I think that Atlanta's gonna just run him like crazy, and I think he's gonna get you PPR points, through the passing game. I think uh, he's, it sounds like he's very determined to have a massive season. I think with Penix at quarterback, he's going to be solid enough to help him. But I do think they're really going to feature him to try and make Penix's job easier, put them in better down and distance situations, give Penix easier third downs to convert, and then also help keep the defense off the field. So I think that. Unless Bijan were to have an injury, I think he's going to have a massive season.
Okay, yeah, I love Bijan this year. And you mentioned Gibbs as the alternative. So why are you so high on Gibbs?
Well, I think that Johnny Morton, the new offensive coordinator with the Lions, I think he's really going to feature Gibbs a lot. And he's a John Gruden disciple, and David Shaw as well there. And I think what their view with running backs in the passing game and what they can do, a player like Gibbs, I think in his third year, he's just going to get better and better. And I think he could be in store for a massive season. So I think the new offensive coordinator wouldn't surprise me if he leans a bit more towards Gibbs rather than splitting things. 50-50 with David Montgomery like they've done. Now, that being said, Dan Campbell, comes from the Saints where they really and Sean Payton where they really believed in having that two back system, with the Saints those years with Payton, with Ingram and Kamara and whatnot, because they want both of those guys healthy at the end of the year. The idea is to not run a guy into the ground. You want them going strong come January. So David Montgomery's still going to get plenty of work, but I could just see where I just feel like Gibbs could have a huge season.
Yeah, I've said that I think the biggest loser from the Detroit offensive line absences plus the coordinator change was Montgomery. I think that he's definitely going to have a regression this year. Even if they still believe in the two back system, I just think that Gibbs is going to take more work. I am worried about the offensive line, though. Are you at all? I mean, obviously you have Gibbs as your RB2, but I worry about Ragnow being gone, Zeitler gone. The interior, the tackles are still great, but the interior looks pretty dreadful, I think.
Yeah, I mean, not too much, not as much as maybe the the media is kind of suggesting, because
Okay.
uh Ragnow, from talking with people with Detroit, they said he was not a dominant player the past 4 years. He was a good player. They're gonna miss his leadership, but they felt good about the options they had there. They like some of their young guards as well.
Mm.
So I think yeah, the Christian Mahogany. Go ahead and make the pick.
Yeah, we're
Well,
up. What are you thinking? John Taylor, Tyreek Hill, Higgins, Brown, Wilson, Allen, Jackson, Harrison. Um,
I would probably lean towards either Tyreek Hill or Taylor myself.
okay, I am completely off Hill, so we will be going with Jonathan Taylor. Um,
Sounds good.
so we'll see what this next guy Megalovamon. He's gonna have 2 picks, and then we're gonna be up right away after that. I don't think I've drafted Tyreek Hill in a single draft. I keep in mind I've done 120 of these. I have not drafted Hill once. It's a 31-year-old receiver relying on speed with Miami's offensive line just being dreadful, and Tua being one concussion away from being done for forever. I worry greatly about Miami's offense. So that I've stayed away from everyone in Miami except for Devon Achane and Jalen Wright. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you think Hill is much better than everyone, I'll take him for the first time. You could maybe I'm wrong about him, but
Well, let's
anyway,
see.
he'll win.
Oh, he's
So
gone anyway. So
the top
what
players
do we
available are
have receiver wise?
Higgins and Wilson, and Allen, Jackson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Adams, Kyron Williams, Jackson Smith and Jigba, etc. McLaurin down here. What do you think? We have 50
Mm,
seconds.
I'd probably go with Garrett Wilson or one of the quarterbacks.
Okay. Well, I think there's a chance we get one of the top 5 quarterbacks on the way back. So let's go with Wilson
Yeah.
then. Um, okay. So you're not worried about Tyreek Hill. It's interesting. Um,
Not too much. I think they have so much on the line that they know they got to get their money out of him in order, get him the ball a lot to
mhm,
justify the value. But getting back to the Lions O line real quick, I think they had planned it well. I think Mahogany is going to be a real nice starting guard for them at left guard. I think the Ratledge could end up being an upgrade at center from a strength perspective. From talking with people with the Lions, they said that Ragnow with his foot injury just could not generate power. I mean, they're gonna miss his leadership, but he could not just inability to generate power uh, from the past few years. So I think that could help them in that regard to have some more strength up front. And then I think the depth other years, you think back to the year before when they went to NFC Championship game, Graham Glasgow played a good amount of center when Ragnow was banged up. I think he could slide in there at center if they need him. And Awasika played well as a backup guard. And I think that they've kind of developed that quietly, but I think they feel good about it because they have like 40, 50 million of cap space. They could go sign Brandon Sheriff or someone like
mhm.
that. But they haven't. So I think they're pretty confident in what they have. And if some of the young guys do end up struggling in the training camp in the preseason, then I think they might go sign a guy like that as kind of a
Okay.
emergency move.
That would make me feel better. And you're right. And like you said that, yeah, they could fill in well. Like, yeah, sure. We just don't know that yet. But yeah, I mean, if they're feeling good about it, they've drafted well. Maybe they're right.
And they
Um,
have a really good offensive line coach in
right.
Fraley there, so he does a good job.
Yeah. We had 2 rookies off the board. Ashton Genty went 111, so 1 pick earlier than ADP. I assume you think that's too early. And then the second rookie just went off the board, Omarion Hampton at 308. I would have said that was too early like a week ago, but Najee Harris suffered an eye injury with fireworks. And yeah, it sounds like Hampton might have a chance to just take the job. So, what do you think about Hampton going 308? Is that too early or just right? Or what do you think?
I think it's maybe. Yeah, I mean, after the fireworks thing, I think that's about right. But I agree with you. A week or two ago, I would have said that's too early. But I do think, with Sean Payton, you're gonna have to prepare yourself. I'm sorry, with Harbaugh and the Chargers, you're gonna have to prepare yourself with some frustration of rotation of backs. Just at Michigan and everywhere he's been, you think of the teams with San Francisco, he really used the backup running backs as well.
Yeah. Before I get more into that, we're going to be up in 1 pick. So the top, or no, we're up now. Hurts, Burrow, the top quarterbacks: Kamara, McMillan, Smith, Hubbard, Pickens, Walker, Flowers, Ridley, Waddle, Mixon. Who do you like here?
Ooh, I mean, I kind of like Joe Burrow the most
Okay.
of these options.
Okay. I'm definitely good with taking him. And then we're gonna see what this next guy does. He has 2 picks again, and then we'll be up. So we have 2 running backs, Garrett Wilson, and then Joe Burrow. So we're gonna need some receivers here. Because again, this is and I imagine this first guy is very tilted that we still borrow for him because he has Chase. All right, so again, Kamara, McMillan, Devontae Smith, Hubbard, Pickens, Walker, Flowers, Ridley, etc. Hunter. Any thoughts here? We have 17 seconds.
Oh man, gosh, I would probably want to take a receiver um
8 seconds.
of these options. Which ones would do you like of these?
I just starred Calvin Ridley, so we got him. I told you this goes
Yeah,
quickly. I
yeah.
made sure I starred someone just in case. I love Calvin Ridley this year. I think that he could have somewhat of kind of like an improvement like Terry McLaurin had last year, where like McLaurin in 2023 he had the most unrealized air yards just because his quarterbacks was terrible and they couldn't get him the ball, and he was just a talented receiver and just like a dreadful offense. And Calvin Ridley, same thing last year. He had the most unrealized air yards just because Will Levis and Mason Rudolph couldn't get the ball to him downfield. I think people kind of forgot how talented he is. Like he was a monster in Atlanta back with Matt Ryan. Now, obviously, this hinges a lot on Cam Ward, and maybe you could speak about him a little bit later when he's drafted. But like, like even if Cam Ward doesn't live up to his number one status, like he's still going to be a lot better than the other two guys from last year. So, and plus, like, you know, there's talk that they have good chemistry. Ward is putting in a lot of work. He's coming into the office at 5 o'clock every day. I just think that like things are pointing up to Ridley, and I think that he could really exceed like his projections.
Yeah, and I think the other thing with him is he's a true number one receiver on a team that really lacks anything else.
Yeah.
And then I think you also, like the fact that he's going to get some garbage time numbers. So I
Right.
think that that could end up being a sneaky steal.
Yeah, there will be garbage time. Speaking of teams that had garbage time last year, the Panthers, McMillan just went off the board at 507, and then Caleb Johnson at 508. This is about where McMillan goes. This is like 2 rounds earlier than when Caleb Johnson goes. Like Caleb Johnson usually goes like 708, not 508. So with that in mind, what do you think about McMillan's spot here, and then Caleb Johnson, who should be going in round 7? What do you think?
Well, I still don't quite trust Bryce Young yet. I do think, you saw nice progress late in the year, but considering this player needs to be starting for you and how bad their defense is, and I still don't trust the offensive line, I just would not take McMillan. If he was a bench player, I would be fine with that. But considering you're having to take him in a spot where he's going to start, I would take someone that's a bit more proven.
Yeah, 100%. And what about Caleb Johnson? You know, if you could get him 708 rather than 508, what do you think?
Yeah, at 708, I think that would be fine. I think because you're looking at a potential flex starter there, and I think that would be a fine pick at that point.
Okay, all right. We're 2 picks away. Let's get going here. So the top picks, top players according to ADP are Rome Odunze, David Montgomery, Mahomes, Chris Godwin. Someone just got taken. Mahomes just got taken. Olave, Juwan Jennings, Aaron Jones, Isaiah Pacheco, Khalil Shakir, Jordan Addison, Travis Kelsey, Stephon Diggs, and a few others who just got. Juwan Jennings just went. We're on the board. What do you think?
Of these options, I kind of like Chris Olave. Um, I do like Montgomery still, but I know you're not as high on him. But I kind of those are the two that I like amongst these, and
Okay.
Aaron Jones I like as well. Any of
All right.
those three.
Okay, well, we'll take the one receiver because there were 2 other running backs, so we can get one of the running backs after this guy, assuming he doesn't take both running backs. So he took
Yeah.
Pacheco, and then Kelsey. So who do you like better between Montgomery and Jones?
In that case, I'd probably go with Jones.
Aaron Jones. Okay.
Yeah.
Any reason why?
Well, I think he'll get, more true featured back where rather than split it. And he doesn't have a guy like Gibbs. And I think also Minnesota with the improved interior offensive line and wanting to protect JJ McCarthy, giving him good down and distance, I could see Aaron Jones getting a big workload.
Um, I was gonna say I was gonna ask you about some other rookies, but Rome Odunze just went 704. Curious about your thoughts on him. I mean, he was obviously in the previous draft class in the top 10. What are your thoughts on Odunze?
Yeah, that it's such a challenge with the Bears receivers because I just think they're going to spread the ball around so much between him and DJ Moore and Loveland. Do a lot of tight double tight end sets with Loveland and Cole Kmet, and then of course run a lot with Swift, um, and then I think Burden I could see being a great fit in Ben Johnson's offense as the slot receiver. So I just don't like the Bears players for fantasy because I could see them all putting up some numbers, but maybe not enough that makes you want to start them. Where it's just kind of a flash one week and then another guy the next, and it just kind of leaves you frustrated when you don't play the right guy or
Yeah.
have the right guy.
That's the beauty of this league, that you don't have to worry about setting any lineups. It's wonderful. Um, so we had 3 rookies go since we spoke about Caleb Johnson, Travion Henderson 5'11", and then Travis Hunter 6'02". Let's focus on those two. They bet what the same guy took both of them. So do you like them where they're going?
I don't know. I mean, I think Henderson will be a solid back, but with Stevenson there, I think he's going to be more of a passing game back. I will say with him, teams loved him in Blitz Pro, so I do think he'll be more of the third down back over Stevenson in New England, and then Travis Hunter there. I wouldn't draft him that high. He's trying to do something that really hasn't been done. And I would, at this point of the draft where you're still having to take, or in this league, you don't have to worry about the lineup, but in others, you have to draft a starter, in the seventh round. So, unless unless you're bypassing certain positions for starters until later, but yeah, I would probably wait on him. I don't trust the numbers there.
He was going 4th round like a couple months ago, and his ADP has dropped to like something reasonable, I would say. But Archie Harvey, the other running back, going in the 6th round, 608. What do you think about Harvey there?
Yeah, I mean, as we kind of hit on earlier, Sean Payton loves and believes in a two-back offense. So I think he's definitely going to get work, but I do think you could get frustrated with J.K. Dobbins getting carries and Estime and Jaleel McLaughlin. I could just see him really using the whole group and kind of leaving you a bit frustrated.
People love Harvey. What did you think about him? Oh, well, hold on. We'll come back to that in a couple picks because I don't want to miss our pick again. We're up in 2 picks. The top players available are Bo Nix, Kyler Murray. We already have a quarterback. Are Mooney, Agbuka, Jordan Mason, Justin Fields, Travis Etienne, Jalen Warren, Mark Andrews, Jared Goff, Tyron Tracy, Jaden Higgins, Brock Purdy, Caleb Williams. Let's not draft Quinton Judkins. Um, so, what are you thinking here? I would like to throw my hat. I was going to say Buka, but he just went the board. So what do you want to do here?
I would say Mooney or ETN, but probably Mooney.
Mooney. Okay, ETN's
Yeah.
interesting. I think Kenny would be enraged right now because he hates ETN so much.
I remember Kenny hating my Derrick Henry pick in the fourth round before his breakout year. So,
This
but
is true.
I mean, at this point of the draft, where you're getting a guy who is a starter and a feature back, and the other thing about ETN that I love this year is its contract year, and I love drafting players in contract years or extension year. Where they might be there if they have a huge season, they're in line to become get a huge extension. So ETN's in a contract year. I like that
Well,
about him.
we're not getting ETN. He just got taken. So just Nick,
Right.
Mason, Fields, Warren, Andrews, Goff, Purdy, Higgins, Williams, Judkins, Dobbins, Warren. What do you think?
Oh man. I guess I might want to. What other tight ends are other than Andrews do we have?
Tyler Warren. You want to draft him?
No, I don't trust their quarterbacks. I'd probably go with
Okay.
Andrews over him.
Okay, well, we timed out. We got Jaden Higgins. I starred him just in case, and I put him. I put a receiver there because we only had 4 receivers, and this is a league where you start 3 receivers, and you can't pick up you can't. There's no waivers here, so you
Right.
need like
That
if
works.
you have like 2 receivers go down with injuries, like you could get really screwed at the position. So I went with Higgins. What are your thoughts on Higgins and Igbuka here? Because I was dying to get Igbuka. He is one of my highest drafted players at 809. And I'd like to preface this by saying I don't think Chris Godwin's playing until like mid-October or late October.
Yeah, I think in that case, I really like the pick. And I agree. I think that would be a really good value because I could see him hit the ground running in the NFL. So just he's such a polished, well-rounded player. I would definitely. Uh, I'm not generally supportive of taking many rookies, but I would be open to taking him, especially at that part of the draft.
Okay, and what about Higgins at 902?
Yeah, Higgins I like as well, in part because I don't necessarily trust the other Texans receivers to stay healthy. So, and I think they have solid talent around it. So around him there, even if they do, he's going to get single coverage, and I think his mismatch size and the red zone's going to be something they utilize. So I like that. Taking him, especially when you can get him like ninth round.
Okay, and the other one was Matthew Golden, who went 803. What are your thoughts on him?
Well, I just don't trust the Packer receivers in terms of consistency. Just week to week, it's hard to kind of know which one they're going to feature. They spread the ball around so much. They, use Jacobs a lot, and Jordan Love can be a little streaky himself at times. So I would be hesitant to take Golden, especially because he's not the biggest of guys. He's a speed receiver. It might take some time for him to really, kind of get into the groove of going against pro corners.
Yeah, I agree. I think not. I'm not too high on him there. Cam Scatabo went 906. Curious about that pick. So I feel very strongly about it.
Yeah, I would not do that at all.
Okay.
I wouldn't draft him if I think he'd be a guy I'd monitor. I mean, someone's probably gonna draft him just out of the hype,
Yeah.
but it would not surprise me if he's third on the depth chart come opening day or even fourth. But I could definitely see Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary being ahead of him.
The hype with Scatabo is insane, and I think it's like prisoner of the moment syndrome, where people remember that Arizona State Texas game, and
Right.
it's how great he was in that game. But he went in the fourth round. His like low agility scores, testing wise,
Hmm.
and he's third on the depth chart or fourth. And like I've seen him go in the seventh round. I'm like, what are you doing? I don't get it. Ninth round is way too early. If it's like 13th, 14th round, I'd think about it, but like ninth, no way. It's insane. I'm glad to hear you're on the same page there. Tyler Warren just went. You were hesitant to draft him at 10:06, but we're up in two picks, so I want to save that for right after. Trey Harris just went. We need a backup quarterback. We actually need three in this sort of format. So there's let's focus on taking a quarterback here. I think McCarthy just went. There's Herbert, May, Stroud, Lawrence. What do you think about these guys?
I would go with Herbert or Stroud. I'd probably lean towards Stroud just because
Okay.
I think the numbers and Harbaugh's just gonna love to run, with the rookie back and the backs they have there. So and that O line. So I think Stroud's gonna end up with bigger numbers.
Okay, that stacks with our Jaden Higgins pick, so that's nice.
Yep.
And this guy's going to take two players. He's taking Shaheed, so the top, and he's taking McKirk. So the top players available: are Ayuk, Herbert, May, Javante Williams, Tajay Spears, Tucker Kraft. We don't have a tight end yet, right? Yeah, no tight end. Mims, Kincaid, Loveland, Lawrence. What do you think?
Ooh, let's see. I would say let's look at tight end. What are our best options there?
Kraft, Kincaid, Loveland, likely.
I'd probably go with Kincaid.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I think that's a solid pick.
Okay. Why Kincaid?
Well, of that group. He's, I think, more veteran reliability, especially over a player like Loveland, who might not even start. And then I think also he's got just a quarterback that you can trust that's going to get him the ball. And now they've had continuity for a few years together, so I think he's the safest. And it wouldn't surprise me if he, puts improves this year and you see more production out of him.
Okay. And speaking of tight ends, I brought up Warren for a second, and like I said, you were hesitant to draft him there. So why the hesitation? Is just because he's a rookie, or what?
Well, the biggest factor, I think, to me is the quarterbacks. Just one, Anthony Richardson, inaccurate. I just don't trust him to get good production out of the tight end. But even if Daniel Jones is starting, I think he could have solid numbers with Jones as the starter. But I still could see where Jones might favor more of the veteran receivers that they have there and the running game. So I'm not sure Warren's going to be worth starting this season. I think he might be more of a backup guy, and then if he starts coming on, then maybe you put him in as a starter. But I wouldn't trust him out of the gate.
Okay. So Loveland just went. You brought him up. I want to ask you about Trey Harris though. He went at 10:08, and he's getting a lot of hype as like this high upside guy. Mike Williams just retired. Quentin Johnson can't catch anything. They also have Keandre Lambert Smith, but it feels like that's it on the outside. What are your thoughts on Harris in the 10th round?
Well, I just it's risky because I think, with the veterans that it's tough to unseat veterans necessarily as a rookie day two pick. But, like you said, they don't have much on the outside. So I would consider drafting him as a late rounder, but I probably wouldn't take him in a part of the draft where I think this guy could be starting it even as a flex for me. I'd probably wait on him.
Okay. And then the two Bears went Loveland and Burden. Um, is do you Are you hesitant with them just because of the same reason as Odunze, just crowded area?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I'm hesitant with them because of that. Burden, I really love the fit with Ben Johnson in the offense, but I mean, there's character concerns with him as well, so I wonder how that's going to translate to him learning the playbook and studying and working and kind of I would just wonder if he's going to need some time to learn to become a professional, and then that hurts his playing time, and then he kind of starts to spark up at late in the year, it starts to click. So I don't that's just kind of the feeling I have with him. But yeah, there's just so many options in Chicago. I have a hard time kind of seeing, one guy be featured.
Okay. We're up in one pick. We have Penix, Tua, Stafford. We need a third quarterback. Thielen, Jaden Blue as another rookie. Johnston. Um, uh, Jake Ferguson, Isaac Garendo, Bryce Young, Kyle Williams, Cam Ward. What are you thinking here?
Uh, yeah, man, I like uh Garendo, and I like uh I'd even think of Thielen as well some. So those options I would like, and Stafford if if you want to take the third quarterback.
Well, we took Garendo, and I'm happy,
Yeah.
very happy to hear that you love Garendo. I've drafted Garendo more than any other player thus far. Um, Before I explain, well, I want to hear why you like him because everyone listening to this knows exactly why I love Garendo. Like I said, we need a third quarterback. You mentioned Stafford, but I wanted to pitch Penix or Ward just because we have Mooney and we have Calvin Ridley. So like
Yeah, that's a
stacking
good call.
Stacking is important. Actually, no, Cam Moore's off. Cam Moore's cannot be considered because we have Joe Burrow week 10 bye and Cam Moore's week 10 bye. Stroud is week
Yeah,
6 bye. So we could go Penix, or if you really want Stafford, Bryce Young, maybe Geno Smith. What do you think?
no, I think Penix would be good. Yeah, I think I'd consider Darnold some, but I like Penix there because I think the weapons they have, I think he'll play well.
Okay. Yeah, you need three quarterbacks in best ball just because if one goes down, then like on bye week you're not gonna have anyone like at the high scoring position just because it could just be a nightmare.
Right.
So please tell everyone why you like Isaac Garendo because I feel like people's ears have been bleeding so much just based on how much I've hyped this guy up. So I'll allow you to do it. Why'd you like Garendo without me even prompting it?
Well, with Jordan Mason being, moved on and in Minnesota, I think that just really makes him the firm number two, which means he's just a heartbeat away from being the number one back. Because while McCaffrey, it sounds like he's healthy and he looks like he's in great shape, he's got a lot of tread on those tires, and he's been, putting his body through a lot, for many years now. You think back, he's a 2017 draft pick, and that's a long time for a running back in the NFL. So I could see them also wanting to keep McCaffrey healthy as much as possible. So putting him kind of on a pitch count, trying to avoid that injury, and Garendo eating up a lot of first and second down work to let McCaffrey come in fresh in third downs as a runner and receiver. So I love Garendo. I think he's also very talented. He's big, he's fast. I think he's a great fit in that zone scheme. So I could definitely see him being one of the steals in fantasy this year.
I'm so happy. My greatest fear was like, I like Charlie. Hey, I drafted Isaac Garendo in 76% of my drafts. What do you think of him? Like, I don't like this guy. He sucks. I'm like, oh no, the
No.
money I spent is all up in flames. But this is unprompted. I did not ask you beforehand. I did not tell you to say anything. Not that you you would say something I told you to say. But I'm glad to hear that you're on the Garendo train. Feels like everyone we've had
Yeah.
on is on the Garendo train. So that is great news. We've had three rookies go right in a row here. Dylan Sampson with the Judkins news, Kyle Williams, he paired him with Drake May, and then Jaden Blue at 13-12. Any of these guys pique your interest, or do you think they were wasted picks?
Yeah, I wouldn't take them. I just
Okay.
I wouldn't take any of these guys really. I just don't think, and I've done pretty well avoiding rookies in fantasy. I think the media hype kind of pushes these guys higher than they deserve to go.
Yeah, that is true. Rookies do go earlier than they should. Bashaw Tootin, we didn't get to him. What do you think about him real fast? Because we're up in two picks.
Yeah, I wouldn't take him. I would watch him and maybe pick him up, but I wouldn't draft him.
Okay. We need another running back. We only have four. So we have Algier, Jalen Wright, Jerome Ford, Nick Chubb, Rico Doodle, Roshan Johnson. What do you think?
Man, I'd probably go with Algier among this group, especially with us having Bijan. I think we handcuff that pretty well there, so we'll get all the rushing yards out of Atlanta.
Okay. All right. We're gonna be up in two picks, and I think I'm gonna know what you want to do here. And you might think it's too early, but I'm gonna tell you this guy's gonna be gone by the time we're up again. Just based on how many times I've drafted. This guy never comes back to us. Um, he is he is a rookie receiver. And let's just in case Mega Vlon is listening, we've actually had someone listen to us on the show and snipe us. Oh my God, Dante Thornton just went, unbelievable. Anyway, that's
Ah,
that's thanks. We need another receiver though, or running back. We can take Jalen Wright if you want, or one of these guys, running back or receiver. With Jalen Wright, Jerome Ford, Nick Chubb, Rico Doodle, Jake. I know you don't like this guy. Palmer, Pat Bryant, Calvin Austin with 10 seconds.
I'd take either Jalen Wright or DeAndre Hopkins.
All right, we're gonna take Wright. Is Hopkins could certainly come back to us. Man, that stinks. That stinks. Dante Thornton just went 1501. I was really hoping we would get him because you told me, and I've been drafting this guy a lot. You told me via text that you like this guy. Do you want to talk about why you like Thornton?
Yeah, I've actually spoken to multiple people with the Raiders about him, and I asked, is the positive press legit or just hype? And they would tell me if it's, kind of not warranted, the media attention. And one comment was absolutely legit, just has to stay healthy. And then the other one was this could be a great one. So
Mhm.
they really believe in it. So and believe in him. So I think uh, to all our listeners out there, this could be a late round fantasy steal, and one of these Raiders sources told me to draft their tight end, a guy named Darren Waller, uh, before his breakout year, and so I did in the very last round, and that helped give me a loaded team. So this is, very reliable people, and I definitely think Thornton would be a potential steal, in these 14th, 15th round, if not a round or two sooner.
Yeah, I've taken Thornton in 23% of my leagues. Feel good about it. That man, that stinks. I thought we would definitely get him at 15-2. This first guy had 7 receivers already, and he made Thornton his 8th receiver. Like, I come on, man. Like, I thought that's why I went running back first, because I saw he had so many receivers. Otherwise, I just would have been safe and taken Thornton at 14-11. But man, that sucks. I do like Algier and Wright. I think those are good picks. The other, but wow, Cameron Ward 15-12. That's the latest I've seen him. I don't know which rookie to ask you about. There's Mason Taylor 15-11, Cam Ward 15-12, Pat Bryant 16-02. I mean, you like one AFC West receiver. What about Pat Bryant? Yeah, any thoughts on him?
Yeah, I wouldn't take him, but I would think in a league like this, I'd consider taking Cam Ward, especially for, if we didn't have the bye week situation and already having Ridley. And I think he's going to get you some rush yards as well. So in a league like this, I would consider taking Cam Ward for sure.
Yeah, I've drafted Ward. I think he's my highest owned quarterback, actually, 27%. Um, okay, so people might be thinking like, oh, Charlie likes Thornton. What about Besh? He was taken earlier than Thornton. What are your thoughts on Besh at the Raiders?
So this is a player that everyone's rooting for, myself included, and just given what he's been through and losing his brother in the New Orleans terror attack on New Year's Eve, it seems like a great family, but I've just heard that it could take some time, and that it sounds to me like he's not worth taking in fantasy this year. I think he might not just end up getting a lot of work this rookie season, and so I would avoid him.
Okay. All right, so we're up in one pick. We need a receiver, only a 5. So there's Michael Wilson, Keenan Allen, or Wilson's gone. Keenan Allen, Jalen Noel. We can pair him with Stroud. Andre Chevis. We can pair him with Burrow, Slayton, Lockett, Io Manor, etc. What do you think?
Um, Man, I'd probably go with Slayton.
Slayton.
But yeah, but I don't love any of those options, but I'd probably take Slayton.
Yeah, what a bummer that Thornton wasn't our 6th receiver and Slayton instead. Slayton's okay. He has some spike weeks here and there, but it's not super
Right.
exciting. So let's go through. We don't need a quarterback. So the top running backs: Doodle, Roshan Johnson, Justice Hill, Will Shipley. The top receivers, you just saw them. The top tight ends: Pat Frymer, Dalton Schultz, Juwan Johnson, Theo Johnson. What are your thoughts here in round 17? So we need
I
another tight end. And go ahead.
I would take either Fryermuth or Schultz. I mean, we have Stroud, so that
Yeah.
might lean me towards Schultz. But I think those two are gonna put up solid numbers, but not spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, nothing here is super exciting.
Hmm.
I'm on board with Schultz to pair him with Stroud. I think anytime
Yeah.
you can stack is a good idea, and there are going to be many easy games in the AFC South for the Texans. So at least
Right.
4. Jaguars could be good, but at least 4. And the Jaguar defense is nothing to write home about. Okay, so we have our second tight end. You need at least 3 of every position. I love Will Shipley, by the way, because I wanted to ask you this. I forgot to ask you. So you said Bijan and Gibbs as your top 2 running backs. You didn't mention Barkley, who is the consensus running back 1. So, like, why are you down on Barkley this year?
Well, it's not so much that I'm down on him. I just feel that those other two could be kind of primed for some of the bigger seasons of their career. And also, I just wonder about Barkley and the workload, and kind of the injury history he's had. Is he going to be one of these guys that's kind of up 1 year and then has a year with injury and then back, or it's one of the kind of that feeling of given his time with the Giants and how it played out there.
Yeah, definitely fair. I mean, he has so many carries, so many touches last year. It was crazy. So no, I do think that he's arguably the best player in the NFL. So I don't know. It could be like LaDainian Tomlinson, where he just stays on top forever. Um, but
Right.
but yeah, I mean, there is risk there for sure. Um, Another
Yeah,
time.
I mean, I think that just 2 years ago he averaged 3 some yards per carry,
Yeah,
for the season. So but yeah, I agree. He's an amazing player. I just wonder about the workload and, can he hold up again? Because the other years, with New York, great at the beginning, had a few injury plagued years, then back up, and then, the final season went bad for everything, not all on him, of course, and the line was struggling always. So yeah, it was a dumpster fire. But yeah, it's just I kind of like to draft young ascending players, especially in the first early rounds.
yeah, definitely feel the same way about that. Um, I want to ask you about Elijah Arroyo because he's going much earlier now than he was before, like 16th round. Like he's been undrafted sometimes before Noah Fant got released. Like, and
Right.
Arroyo is someone we've had in the first round of our mock draft, so he fell to the second round. But like he's a talented player. Would you take Arroyo as like late round at all consideration?
Yeah, in this kind of league, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when you need to have this many backups in play, I definitely would now that Fant's been released because, I think Clint Kubiak, will run a lot of 12 personnel, so you'll have your two tight end sets be a big part of the offense, and so with him and AJ Bardner, I think Arroyo's going to get a lot of looks in the passing game, and I think Darnold will use him and target him. And they really don't have a lot of size on the outside. Like Smith Najigba, Cooper Cup are smaller, aren't big receivers. Valdez Scantling has size, but he's kind of a one-trick pony. In terms of being a vertical guy. So I could definitely see Arroyo being used, out there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm warming up to him for sure. Um, we had a couple of late round running backs go, DJ Giddens, Brashard Smith. I wanted to ask you about that, but we're up in 2 picks, so I'll do that right after we go. Another one's Jarquez Hunter, so he's the second best player for ADP on the board. I'll just start him just in case. We have three. We're done with quarterbacks. We need one more running back, one more receiver, one more tight end. So top running backs available are Jarquez Hunter, Blake Corum, Raheem Mostert, Taj Brooks, Devin Neal. Top receivers are Io Manor, McLeod, Jalen Coker. We're up now. Jalen Naylor, Jalen Royals, and then top tight ends Taysom Hill, Terrence Ferguson, Tyler Higbee, Noah Gray. What do you think?
I go back to the running backs. There was a name there I'd go with Mostert.
Mostert? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. And so we got a running back, so we need a receiver and a tight end. I think we should say receiver to the end because I want to ask you about a couple guys. So we need a third tight end here. So it's either Taysom Hill, Terrence Ferguson, Tyler Higbee, Noah Gray, Luke Shoemaker, or Randy Gatz in the second, Cole Kmet. What do you think?
I kind of like
Ferguson.
Higby because I think Ferguson could get overdrafted being a rookie, and Higby uh, I think he could be a sneaky nice late rounder.
Yes, Cassandra called it. Higby next. I've drafted Garendo in 76% of my drafts. I've drafted Higby. He's the second highest at 65% of my drafts. Damn it, Charlie. No. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. I was hoping you would like Higby. I was asked about I was on a podcast on Friday. Someone asked me about Terrence Ferguson. It was fantasy football counselor. He's a great guy. He has me on the show a lot, and he's been on the show. He loves Ferguson, and I told him I love the talent, like for sure. But I said like Ferguson 2026, like not this year. Like the Rams are going
Hmm.
Rams to me business this year. Like they're a Super Bowl contender. I don't think they're going to run out a young guy who can make a lot of mistakes, and like Higbee's still good. Like, granted,
Yep.
he's toward the end of his career, but I still think he has 1 or 2 more good years left in the tank. And what he did in the playoffs at the end of last year was great. I mean, he came back from the torn ACL. No one knew what they were going to get out of him, and like he was awesome. So yeah, I'm glad you're on board with Higbee there, unprompted again. So,
Yeah, I like him, and I think that rookie tight end. That we've seen the past couple seasons a guy, Laporta and Bowers just come in and crush it. But
yeah.
I don't see Ferguson as that kind of player, and I think Sean McVay runs a complicated offense. Ferguson's coming from a very simple college offense, so it wouldn't surprise me if he needs some time there. And I think Higbee, this is, could be one of his last years to put himself in position to get some more money out of it, legit money out of his career. So, and he's got a lot of years working with that quarterback, a lot of chemistry there. Devontae Adams does not have that. Puka Nakua is great, but he also can get banged up. So, there's a lot I like about taking Higbee there.
Yeah, love hearing it. I said earlier I wanted to ask you about some of these late round running backs, DJ Giddens, Brashard Smith, and then Jarquez Hunter, who's still on the board. Uh, do any of these guys excite you at all?
Hunter does a little bit, but I want to see kind of what happens with their guys in the preseason. If he is if he can kind of you feel like he's definitely the number two back behind Kyron, then I would really be intrigued with taking Hunter in the late rounds. But I want to see what how they kind of split the carries and work and how it looks with Corum and the other guys that they have there fighting for backup, reps.
Okay, makes sense. Smith is someone that Ben Bosley of FFDFantasyFootball.com recommends to me. Hunter just went. He gave me Tyron Tracy as a late round sleeper last year, and I asked him like, okay, who's this year's Tyron Tracy? And he said Brashard Smith. He mentioned because he doesn't believe Pacheco could be 100%, and so if Pacheco's not 100%, like who could it be? Like Hunt's like a million years old. Elijah Mitchell's always hurt. And then there's Brashard Smith, and the Chiefs have used late round running backs before, Pacheco being one, so it made sense to me. But like as a prospect, does Smith like intrigue you at all? Like knowing that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great landing spot. So I think he's on to something there with the depth chart, and with injuries there, and Pacheco's had injuries. So from that perspective, I agree, and I think Smith's speed and receiving ability is a nice fit for Andy Reid. So I in this kind of format and this many players drafted, I would definitely think of him.
Okay. All right. So we need one more receiver. And I wanted to be a rookie. I wanted to ask you because I've drafted all these guys in the 20th round. Who do you like the most? Jalen Lane from the Redskins, Arian Smith from the Jets, or Ty Felton from the Vikings?
Who I'd probably go with Ty Felton in the Vikings of
Okay.
that group. I don't like the hands on Arian Smith. I think that's just going to be a problem for him as a pro. And then I don't trust the others to work their way on the field as much. Whereas I could see Minnesota, getting some more reps for Felton just in terms of Addison with injuries and Naylor, and they're not the biggest of guys. So I could see them rotating in Ty Felton and giving him more looks than some of these other receivers might get.
Okay. I've drafted Lane when I've drafted Jane Daniels. I think that given Noah Brown's injury and also McLaurin holding out, like I think there might be a
Yeah,
chance that Lane sneaks onto the field. Arian Smith's
that's a
hands do,
good point. Yeah.
yeah, Arian Smith's hands do scare me, but like you can't teach his speed, and I think in a format where you're looking for upside, like he could have like 3 games this year where he just goes nuts and then like just doesn't do anything the other games. So that's
Right.
kind of like why I've drafted Marquez Valdez Scantling as well at times.
Hmm.
But I wanted to go with the rookie because you're on. All right, so we're going to review this team and then answer a couple questions, then head out. So our team is we started with double running back Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor. We also had Aaron Jones as a solid third running back. We have upside running backs with Gorendo, Algier, and Jalen Wright. So if any of the starters go down ahead of them, like they can certainly help win us this league. And then receivers, we have Garrett Wilson, Calvin Ridley, Chris Olave, Darnell Mooney, Jaden Higgins. Not the most exciting group, but like it's somewhat decent. Slayton and Felton there. We have a fourth round quarterback in Joe Burrow. So there are five elite quarterbacks this year. I think I try to get one of the five. The five being Burrow, Hurts, Allen, Jackson, and Jane Daniels. And then our tight ends, Dalton Kincaid, Dalton Schultz. So we're all about the Daltons. And then Tyler Higbee, whose name is not Dalton, but he's someone Charlie recommends. So that's good for me. Charlie, do you think this looks like a $2 million team to you?
I think we got a real strong team, and
Yeah.
looking at the other teams in the league, I would take ours over the others. So I think uh, we have the luxury of being objective and not having a favorite team that causes us to
Yeah.
load up on their players, and that works very well in fantasy football. So I think we got a real shot at this.
Yeah, yeah. How it works, I don't know if you're familiar with this. How it works is like if you're top two in this league, you just play a regular league. You don't play matchups. You just play against each other and it's points. So the top two go to the playoffs, and then you have 11 other league winners you're going up against. So this is the first round of the playoffs. If you win that, you go on to the semifinals. If you lose, you get like $30. So you get like 1.5x. In the semifinals, if you lose, you get like $80 or 60 or $80. But again, if you get first place, then you go to the championship, which is like you're against 1,000 people. But like even if you finish last place in the championship, it's like $1,000. But like
Oh
like
wow.
I said before, the top prize is 2 million, second prize is 1 million. So I was saying, if we have a lineup here that wins 1 million plus, I will split the money after taxes. So this could make us very rich here. So hopefully that's the case. My only regret in this draft is that I didn't suggest Dante Thornton at 14-11. I didn't know this guy who drafted 9 receivers was going to go after Thornton. That was kind of bizarre, but yeah. So I think good draft, and I thought we analyzed all the running backs. We had a couple questions before we head out. Ken asking Charlie, do you like Chuba Hubbard this year for fantasy? I should preface that Chuba Hubbard is going around like the middle round 5.
Yeah, I do. He's like the only Panther that I actually would draft until the late rounds. I would maybe consider Adam Thielen, just given the comfort that Bryce Young showed with him last year. And he's such a pro that I think he's still gonna kind of find a way to get it done and have some garbage time numbers as well, like he did last year. I had him on a team or two. From that, and he had some decent weeks for me. But I like Chuba Hubbard. I think he's gonna be that three down bell cow back, that featured guy there, and I think he's got gas in the tank. I think still plenty of tread on the tires. So I like him, and I think in that offense, uh, I can see where they want to feature him and make things easier for Bryce Young and give him good down and distance. So I like Chuba for fantasy and where you're getting him too. I think that's a good value.
Yeah, I think people don't appreciate Carolina's offensive line enough. I think they're one of the best run blocking lines in the NFL, and Hubbard was awesome last year. So I think fifth round is too late for him. I think he's great value there. The boss asking Charlie's JJ McCarthy thoughts of the Vikings this year.
Yeah, now that this is one that I I probably I don't know. Walt can probably say better where my opinion fits with the general consensus, but I I think that JJ McCarthy is going to be a downgrade from Sam Darnold. I don't think he's going to be terrible, but I do think he's a first year starter. You basically have to look at him as a rookie because not yes, he was in the league last year on IR, and he still can study and be at the facility and learn and observe practice, but he's getting zero reps. He's not allowed to practice, and so it's a lost season of reps. And I think given what we saw at Michigan, where sometimes there was questionable passing instincts and whatnot. And I think he had more interception worthy throws than picks illustrated in the stat column. And then also hearing about that, practice, he talked about throwing interceptions in practice and whatnot. So I could just see him having some growing pains. And I think that the Vikings will obviously have a great receiver in Justin Jefferson. I don't like how well he was kind of blanketed and limited by Amik Robertson at the end of last season. I'm wondering if that kind of is a carryover blueprint for this year, that defenses are going to be kind of eyeing up in terms of coverage with how well the Lions covered him in that week 18 game. So, maybe I'm overthinking it a little bit, but I feel like McCarthy's going to have some growing pains. I think he could turn into a solid starter as a pro, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a bit up and down from week to week this season.
Charlie, you're breaking my heart here. I was very high on the
I know,
Vikings.
I know you're high on him, but sorry about
Come on,
that.
Charlie. You're supposed to agree with everything I say. Like, come on. Just kidding. It's, for once, I hope you're wrong. For me, I think like they chose McCarthy over Darnold. Like they could have re-signed Darnold if they wanted to, and they chose McCarthy. I trust Kevin O'Connell. It's his handpicked guy. And he's turned. He had Joshua Dobbs, the astronaut, playing like a good quarterback for a stretch. He had Nick Mullins playing well. He had Kirk Cousins playing his best football, and then last year Sam Darnold, who was given up for dead. The Vikings, when Darnold took over, were 6.5 on the win total, and like they won 14 games with Darnold, with Christian Darrisaw out for half the year. So I don't know. I think that he could do well with McCarthy and get him to play up to his ability. It's just Kevin O'Connell has shown that. It's like kind of like Andy Reid. Like Andy Reid has gotten every quarterback he's had to play well above their talent level. Even Mahomes, like Mahomes is a fantastic prospect, but like now he's the best quarterback in the NFL. He had Alex Smith playing his best football. He had McNabb playing very well. He had AJ Feely like 6-1 as a starter. I think it's like the same sort of way where these great offensive minded coaches get the most out of the quarterbacks. So we'll see. Like I wasn't like super high on McCarthy coming out of the draft either, but I just think it's a good situation for him. But you could be right. Look, you could be right. I could be way off on the Vikings, but we'll see. Brent says, so when the Texans signed Cam Robinson instead of Tunsil, they are the worst offensive line. But when the Vikings signed Cam Robinson because Darrisaw's out, they win 9 in a row. Well, I was like way ahead of that like last year because when the Vikings were winning all these games last year, it was against like mediocre or bad teams. Like they didn't beat anyone good until they played the Packers, and the Packers just looked disheveled without a Christian Watson. It's just like Jordan Love's footwork just fell apart. So the Vikings, they had a lot of games where they won against like mediocre or bad teams, and like they didn't beat these teams convincingly. Like they almost lost to the Titans. So I wouldn't like read too much into that. What do you think, Charlie? I want to ask you, what do you think about the Houston offensive line? Because I read, I saw, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Pro Football Focus, but it could be wrong. I think someone well known rated them as having the worst offensive line in the NFL with Tunsil gone.
Yeah, I wouldn't rate them there. No, I don't agree with that. I mean, at least Cam Robinson is had a lot of experience, and he's, had some solid seasons in the NFL, and they take Ursary, and so I would not definitely not put the Texans as the worst O line in the NFL. I think that it's a work in progress. I don't think they're going to be the best, but I think they're definitely adequate enough to win that division with what they have.
Yeah, I think it's a coin flip between them and Jacksonville. Given that, if I'm right, then Jacksonville with their odds seem pretty good. Sue says Alec Ingold has fresh legs, lots of tread on those tires. Yeah, Mike McDaniel's going to give him like 15 touches one game.
I'll tell you, I know coaches that have had Ingold and they love him. So
That would
He's one of the true fullbacks in the NFL, few far between that I think a lot of teams wouldn't mind having on their roster.
So that's why Mike McDaniel, when Tua was out, gave Ingold as many touches as Hill and Waddle combined against Seattle. It makes so much sense. Now we get it. Last question, Upstate Gardening asking, any value left in the over/under win totals market, or have prices corrected? I don't think prices have corrected enough for some of these. I actually just did a spreadsheet on the win totals. I was gonna because I'm going to Vegas tomorrow, so I wanted to get like the best number, and so I'd been waiting to bet the over unders until I went to Vegas just to make sure I had the best number for each of them, and like there's still some really good values, and there is also arbitrage too. I don't know if I guess I'll say it, but like for example. Dallas Cowboys. They're on FanDuel. They're 7.5. They're over 7.5 minus 125. And on BetMGM, they are under 7.5 plus 150. That is arbitrage, and you can just bet both sides and make money, like no matter what happens. So that's that. I mean, that's fantastic. Just that's something we're gonna do for sure. I just wanted to have all the data in front of me, but like I maybe Charlie disagree. I think Minnesota over 8.5 seems great. Like they won 14 games last year, and I know the VIG is kind of high, but it's minus 145 on FanDuel. It's like that's the best number I see. That's like it's pretty doable. Still love Miami under. I would still go Pittsburgh over. I'd have to like really dive into everything else. Atlanta over looks interesting. Their over is only 7.5. 7.5 minus 130 on ESPN bet is the best number. So I'm going to break this all down in the next few days. That's like what I'm doing in Las Vegas. Like my wife's like, oh, you're going to be on vacation. I'm like, I'm actually going to be working most of the time. She's like, yeah, right. And I'm like, well, I'll be able to prove it with all the content on the site. So we'll have our top bets for the over under posted. I'll be breaking everything down while I'm in Sin City. So looking forward to it. But yeah, that's it for all the questions. Thank you guys for watching and commenting. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Charlie, for coming on the last show before I head out to Vegas. So it's great having you on and getting your insights on these rookies. So anything to shout out before we leave?
Yeah, I mean, we got a bunch of preseason prospect scouting reports going up on guys, a lot of interesting players, and of course rankings and everything for 2026. All our rookie forecasts are up, so you got all 32 teams to look through there for where I see the rookies going in each class, and really fun to do. So definitely check those out. And of course, our mocks, getting updated. And now we're going to be getting into the time of year where scouts are roughly probably a week or two away, couple weeks away before they start hitting the road and hitting up uh, college training camp practices. So starting to ramp up on that scene as well, and we got a ton of stuff going up there.
Yeah, tons of content on WalterFootball.com. Check us out. We have everything. It's all free. You guys know. So yeah, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. And yeah, we'll be back on either Thursday or Saturday with our live from Vegas show. Probably Saturday, but it might be Thursday. It depends on what Tom's schedule is. But yeah, no show tomorrow. I'll be on an airplane, so can't do that. But we'll have one show, which we always do live from Vegas. So looking forward to that. But yeah, otherwise next week's gonna be a full week. So looking forward to that. But yeah, guys, once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you next.